LA This Week.
Your Los Angeles Department of Water and Power issues its first ever customer Bill of Rights, promising stellar service to its customers. And if they break those promises, you could earn cash rewards. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
I'm Anna Marcos. It's that time of year again. Some safety tips as California drivers learn to navigate the rainy roads all over again. That's coming up.
Is the city's vision to connect downtown LA to the west side finally coming to fruition? I'm Rasha Goel, and that story's up next.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, recent wet weather might have you believing our drought is over, but it's not. As Gil Reyes reports, city officials urge all of us to continue the habit of saving water while saving money too.
Don't be fooled. Despite the recent rains, LA is still in the midst of a record dry spell.
And so taking shorter showers, which I've really had to encourage my kids with that. My sprinklers, we've cut those down, run those maybe once a week. You know, it's important for everyone to do their part.
And even though we started the new year with a splash, it's important to note that we are not in the clear yet. We are going to need more of this wet weather to get us out of the 6th year of drought. That's why it's very important for all of us to continue to conserve. Another way to save water is by using rain barrels. They collect storm water for your home and garden use instead of flowing wastefully into the ocean. And if enough people use rain barrels, they could actually reduce the likelihood of flooding in neighborhoods and cut back on the city's reliance on expensive imported water. LADWP offers a $75 rebate for one 55-gallon drum. That covers most of the cost of buying one. DWP spokesman David Pettyjohn says another way to save is to replace your lawn with drought-tolerant landscaping.
We still do incentivize turf removal. So we'll give you $1.75 per square foot of every square foot of turf you remove and replace with California-friendly native plants. One thing that's not commonly understood by our customers even is that inside the city of LA, we have 100% commodity-based rates. So if you go away from your home and you shut your water off and you don't use any water during a billing cycle, you'll get a bill from the DWP for $0.
That's right, you could be paying nothing. So even though our DWP rates are going up, doesn't mean you'll have to pay more. In fact, you could be spending a drop in the bucket, maybe less, if you make the system and Mother Nature work for you. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
For more water, energy, and money-saving tips, visit myladwp.com. Well, even though the rain is much needed, it does have its downside, especially when it comes to driving around town. Anna Marcos brings us some rainproof safety tips.
As Californians living through a drought, we all know we need the wet stuff, but as drivers, not so much. California drivers are known for getting all turned around when the rains first hit. And so far, we've had a few drenchings this rainy season. The LAPD has a little traffic advice.
People tend to drive too fast. They act like the rain is not even there, that they can stop just as quickly when there's puddles and water on the ground, that they can see just as clearly through the windshield when there's rain coming down on the windshield. Most important, it's time to slow down.
Hydroplaning through puddles, slick streets from oil runoff. Just some of the reasons accidents surge during rainy days in the Southland. But the main reasons are just plain bad driving and bad judgment.
You have the wet roads and you have the visibility and you have people still hurrying. So it's going to increase the accidents for sure.
But even before you get in the car, there are precautions you should take. Make sure your tires work and have the right amount of pressure. Same thing goes for your brakes. Get them checked out and ready for winter as well as your windshield wipers. Then just slow down and turn your headlights on. It increases your own visibility and helps make your car more visible to others. Taking a little extra time and effort beats not getting there at all. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
And just a reminder to drivers, cell phone laws have become more strict this year. Unless you have a hands-free and voice-activated system, you shouldn't be using a cell phone on the road at all, or you'll get a ticket. But while traffic safety is important, city and state leaders are focused on a bigger picture to get those drivers out of their cars for good. One way they're doing that is by extending LA's subway dream into the West Side. Rasha Goel has more on the recent additions.
And it's official. A federal grant and loan totaling near $1.6 billion will help Metro begin the process of building the second section of the Metro Purple Line extension to downtown Beverly Hills and Century City.
Right now, it currently takes a city bus over an hour to travel the route of the Purple Line extension. The Purple Line will cut that route down to 25 minutes.
The Purple Line connects downtown Los Angeles and Westwood with service through the Miracle Mile, Beverly Hills, and Century City.
Today, we proudly declare once again, Go West Young Subway. And this is the Purple Line, Go West. This is the backbone of the Metro Rail network.
Metro has already begun construction on the first section of the Purple Line with 3 stations in the Miracle Mile area. This second section will extend an additional 2.6 miles with 2 new stations, one near Rodeo Drive and the other in Century City.
More than 300,000 people travel to the West Side every day for work. More than 100,000 trips leave the area for outside destinations. West LA is second only to downtown LA as the biggest job center in the entire county.
Construction is expected to begin in 2018 and completed by 2026. Hopes are to help accelerate traffic through one of the region's busiest and most congested corridors. From Century City, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
A third section of the Metro Purple Line will extend into UCLA and the VA hospital. Well, if they make a mistake, you don't pay. In fact, they'll pay you if the error is big. LA Department of Water and Power makes some bold promises to customers still angry over poor service from a few years back. Gil Reyes has more from DWP headquarters. Gil.
Well, Yana, you may have remembered up until 2.5 years ago, caller wait times for DWP customers could last as much as 40 minutes, sometimes more. Well, not anymore. The agency is promising under 3 minutes. They're making other promises as well. And if they break those promises, you could earn cash rewards. Did DWP incorrectly raise your bill? If it's 3 times the right amount and either you or the agency catches it, you'll receive $25 in cash credit.
We've got to keep focusing on our customers, something that the department had kind of let slide for a few years. And we continue to do that today with the Customer Bill of Rights.
DWP General Manager David Wright unveiling the agency's new Bill of Rights, expected to kick in February. Part of it guarantees improved customer service with cash. Details were developed with the mayor in response to a botched billing system from a few years back. Those mistakes led to outrageously inflated bills and a multi-million-dollar settlement with angry customers. DWP says the new guarantees will help ensure big mistakes won't happen again.
All with the assurance that we are doing everything in our power to make this the greenest utility possible. This is a real milestone.
Another provision promises new water and power connections at home processed within a day of ordering. Any longer than a day, and you won't have to pay for installation. And you'll get cash credit to boot. Critics say these guarantees should have already been there. But LADWP says it's now putting its own money on the line to help ensure the best customer service possible. At DWP headquarters in downtown, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
In the last 2 years, DWP has hired more than 300 customer service reps to reduce call wait times. The agency says wait times are now typically under 1 minute. While over in Boyle Heights, a collection of community groups makes their children's future success a priority. And now the group has received a windfall from AT&T to get even more A+ results. Anna Marcos has more.
Our immigrant community lives in fear. especially our dreamers that have been working very hard for their education. They deserve to accomplish their dreams and achieve success. Students from Boyle Heights will be successful and productive men and women that contributed for the progress of our nation, because this is our nation. Yes, ma'am.
It's the kind of success this Boyle Heights community can get behind and clap for.
On December the 1st of 2016, I learned that I will be traveling from Los Angeles to New York City to become a part of the class of 2021 at Columbia University and pursue.
Student Ricardo Garcia's dreams came true with help from Proyecto Pastoral and the Promesa Boyle Heights Initiative, programs which help low-income students in Boyle Heights stay in school and go to college, with mentoring, counseling, and academic help. The program has been successful at Mendez High School.
When we were looking at 30% graduation rates roughly, and now we're looking in the upper 90s, that is a huge transformation in this world.
But high school graduation is only the first step.
Our collective strategies have resulted in 92% of graduating seniors applying to college.
And now organizers will be able to help more students. AT&T's Aspire program has chosen the Boyle Heights group as one of 18 to share in a $10 million grant.
Certainly, we're looking at investing in programs that are able to show a marked difference after the investment, after the completion of their programs. But we're seeing a steady rise in high school completion as a result of the program.
Parents, teachers, and local leaders have all fought hard for more opportunities for their kids, sometimes in spite of huge challenges. This is the third time Proyecto Pastoral gets singled out by AT&T for helping students succeed. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Organizers in Boyle Heights say they'll use the extra funds to expand into Roosevelt High School as well as several East Side elementary schools. While the generosity of one Los Angeles police officer continues as he vows to keep kids warm this winter. Rasha Goel has more on another warm coat giveaway.
LAPD officer Jerome Divinity makes sure this elementary school is all buttoned up and ready for the cold winter months ahead. This is the second of 3 events where Officer Divinity and other community partners give free coats to children in need. He's been going to elementary schools in South Central Los Angeles, but this year he added a new place to the list.
This is my first year coming into housing projects, here the Nicholson Garden housing projects.
As we mentioned in a previous story, the program was started 8 years ago by Divinity, who began buying winter jackets for children who didn't have one. He also launched a nonprofit, the Inside Outside Communication Foundation, which helps with the funding for the jackets.
Today we're going to hand out approximately 200 jackets, along with 100 backpacks, and up to 200 toys.
The toys and backpacks were being provided by the Toy Loan Program of the county's Department of Public Social Services.
The program works just like a toy lending library where you can go to one of our centers, borrow a toy for a week.
But just for today, these kids get to keep their toys.
We're very grateful for being here today.
A small gesture of kindness, but a memory that will stay with them forever. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Now, if you'd like to help out, visit iocfoundation.com. Well, turning now to bike riding at night. Did you know that riding without a light is not only dangerous, but illegal? With longer, darker nights, the drive is on to give thousands of free bike lights to folks who need them. Gil Reyes reports.
The LA County Bicycle Coalition helps to keep cyclists safe in East Hollywood.
We always survey the people we give lights to, and last year we found that 81% of the people we gave lights to rely on their bike as their main form of transportation.
And many of them ride at night. That can start as early as 4:30 p.m. during these winter months. The group has partnered with LA City Council District 13 to give out free bike lights at the Santa Monica, Vermont Metro Station. The giveaway, called Operation Firefly. They gave out red bike lights. They go on the back. And white bike lights. They go up front. Having a front light is the law in California when cycling after dark.
There's 3 different modes, and the battery is right in there. The cap can be taken off. Once the battery goes dead, you can replace it. It's a silicone body, so you just strap it right on the handlebar. And the rear light, usually you strap it on the seat post facing backwards. And we basically tell people, don't leave them on your bike, take them off when you finish your ride because they're easy to steal.
The Los Angeles County Bicycle Coalition chose this location with our office because of the fact that it is heavily traveled with bus lines, rail lines, and people that are on their bikes and use all modes of transportation to get around Los Angeles.
They plan to hand out 3,000 bike lights throughout LA County. In East Hollywood, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The Office of Council District 13 and AARP helped pay for the lights. In LA's Filipinotown, another kind of light and art project is brightening things up at the corner of Temple and Union Streets. And as Anna Marco shows us, it's got an extra Filipino twist.
They're called the Hi-Fi Highlights. This historic Filipinotown street lighting project has transformed pedestrian safety along this busy corridor with 53 street lights. The lights are not just about safety. Art and Filipino culture are also embedded right into them with the symbols of core Filipino values.
So the idea that of Kapwa, that we all are shared humanity. In Spanish it's known as solidaridad, that we are all one people. And the second part of that narrative is that we come from different places. We have this idea of lakbay, of traveling. But what do we want? All living together. All we want is that third element of our narrative, and that's kapayapaan, or paz, or peace.
Artist Royal Punzalan was picked for the project out of Filipino artists from all over the county.
I'm glad there's a sculptural element that's being added to this neighborhood. These lights aren't the first and definitely not the last in this community's efforts in uplifting and improving this community through art.
The $625,000 project just made life along this part of Filipinotown a little safer and a lot more beautiful. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The project is part of the historic Filipino Temple Street Streetscape Master Plan. Well, bus riders in downtown can expect more streamlined service when a new storage facility opens. As Gil Reyes reports, the station will also have the benefits of going green.
People who live, work, and play in downtown could be waiting less time for the bus when this operations and maintenance complex is completed.
This is exactly the kind of facility that our riders deserve, that the people in Los Angeles deserve.
The center, being built on Commercial Street in downtown, will store, fuel, and tune up some 70 Department of Transportation Dash buses. Officials say its central location will reduce the time it takes to repair, clean, and turn around buses for service. Officials say simply cleaning and putting one back on the streets could take as little as 20 minutes.
On behalf of the mayor, I just want to congratulate us all for setting the stage for a new day in Los Angeles.
With the environment in mind, the 3-acre maintenance site will have cleaner burning compressed natural gas fueling stations, also charging stations for buses powered by electricity. The Gold LEED certified complex will run mostly on solar energy, and in case it rains, a storm water detention basin is being installed on the property.
We're located so close to the Los Angeles River, so we want to make sure any runoff here is clean before it does reach the river.
The complex is expected to be completed in 2 years. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
So far, this will be the only bus operation and maintenance complex owned by the city of Los Angeles. Well, a new report says LA may be just the perfect place to host the 2024 Summer Olympics. City leaders come up with a plan to pay for rise in legal settlements against the city, and a brand new multi-billion-dollar art museum is set to break ground. All these stories in Citybeat. Hosting the 2024 Summer Olympics could boost LA's economic output by up to 11. Some LA leaders are voicing caution about a plan to borrow up to $70 million to help cover the rising cost of civil lawsuit payouts. The City Council's Budget Committee voted 4-1 in support of the plan, but a couple of council members, including Mitch Englander, say they think it's a bad precedent for the city to go into debt to cover the payouts, which involve a wide range of cases. Los Angeles has been chosen as the new home of Star Wars filmmaker George Lucas's Museum of Narrative Art to be built at Exposition Park. The $1.5 billion museum, funded entirely by Lucas, will be dedicated to illustrations, comics, film, animation, photography, and other forms of narrative art. Lucas is best known for creating the Star Wars film franchise and producing the Indiana Jones franchise. The museum will house works by painters such as Edgar Degas, Winslow Homer, and Pierre-Auguste Renoir, storyboards, props, and other items from popular films. City leaders say the $1.5 billion museum will create thousands of jobs, educational opportunities, increased tourism, and economic growth for South LA. It will also help inspire the next generation of artists and storytellers. Now, we've all heard that LA is becoming a global center of innovation, not just in technology, but in ideas as well. A recent LA Times summit highlighted some of these accomplishments.
So when we talk about innovation, when we talk about technology, which is what we're doing today, we mean changes not just about the way you conduct the game, but about changing the rules of the game itself.
Speakers at this event, subtitled The Big Idea, included great minds in subjects as varied as space travel, food production, virtual reality, and filmmaking, all talking about their journey through innovation.
The Archimedean line, "Give me a lever and a place to stand and I can move the world," is nowhere truer than from a place like this.
The event, held at the UCLA Anderson School of Management, was sponsored by Rolex, which presents awards to visionary innovators.
And I think one thing that we share with UCLA, or certainly the Anderson School of Management, is this idea of also empowering the next generation to go out and make that kind of change in the world.
Jon Favreau, the director who broke new ground in merging computer-generated graphics and live action with Disney's The Jungle Book, spoke of his philosophy about using the latest filmmaking technology.
Whatever the new technology is, if you don't have it paired up with thoughtful, mindful storytelling, it gets a bad rap because it's only a storytelling tool.
Thoughtful storytelling and thoughtful innovation. A recipe for success for tomorrow's innovators. The LA Times Summit was one of more than 90 events the LA Times produces every year. Well, if you love wine, here's your chance to try some different flavors. Enjoy a Disney classic performed in Spanish, and go on a nature hike in one of the city's most scenic trails. All this in this week's Things to Do. The Uncorked Wine Festival is a fun wine tasting event that brings together live music, gourmet food trucks, and both familiar and new wineries from all over the world. Take your pick from Pinots and Cabs to Zins and Rosés. There'll be plenty to choose from for your tasting pleasure. Gather all of your friends and come get uncorked. The second annual Uncorked LA Wine Festival will take place January 21st at Union Station, featuring more than 50 wineries that's sure to satisfy every palate. For more, visit uncorkedwinefestivals.com. Centuries ago, the royalty in the palace of Agrabah spoke one language, Spanish, while its people in the streets spoke another, English. When the rebellious princess and a delinquent street fella meet in the marketplace, they find something special in one another, rise above the barriers between them, and with a little magic help create a better future. Disney's Aladdin is performed in English and Spanish and is fully understandable in both languages. Sponsored by Council Districts 10 and 14, the play runs at the Casa 0101 Theater until February 19th. For more info, visit casa0101.secure.force. Winter is the perfect time to hit the open trail in Topanga State Park, the largest state park in LA proper. This hike is a relatively flat, approximately 7-mile route that hits the well-known landmark known as Eagle Rock and also ropes into Mescal Peak, which on a clear day can offer an incredible panorama of the city and mountains. The park has plentiful trail markers, and its combination of low elevation gains and great views make it a nice and smooth hike for beginners. For more, visit parks.ca.gov. And that's a look at some things to do. Brilliant colors, community get-togethers, and happy faces don't usually seem like the way to celebrate death, but at the Pacoima Festival, they do. And Marcos takes us there.
Communing with the Aztec spirit ancestors was a big part of the Dia de los Muertos festival. And in the city of Pacoima, it was a 3-day extravaganza. Dia de los Muertos is a Latin American tradition which celebrates loved ones who have passed away, with special altars dedicated to them and offerings like their favorite foods. The departed loved ones can include anyone from one's favorite aunt to, apparently, the likes of Michael Jackson.
It really is amazing to see all the colors and all the collaboration that everybody comes together to make it happen, because it takes a lot.
And true to the theme of death, one could find all sorts of skeletons here. Childlike skeletons who play guitars, singing skeletons, a whole family of skeletons, papier-mâché skulls, face-painted skeletons. Well, you get the idea.
We're really celebrating our diversity, our cultures through the arts.
It's a festival of death that apparently makes our dead ancestors and us quite happy, especially when it can inspire a pint-sized Frida Kahlo to come back to life and do a jig or two. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitybview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.